Hello and welcome to the news in English from Đồng Nai radio and television station. Here are the main contents of today's news. Many of the world's largest news agencies such as Reuters, AFP, Washington Post, Kyodo, Xinhua on April the 2nd have posted news and articles reporting that Vietnam National Assembly formally elected Mr. Trần Đại Quang as President of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. The British news agency Reuters said Mr. Trần Đại Quang was officially sworn in before the National Assembly, becoming the President of Vietnam in the morning of April the 2nd. The French news agency AFP informed the National Assembly of Vietnam had just elected Mr. Trần Đại Quang as President of State. The Washington Post newspaper wrote, "The Minister of Public Security of Vietnam today has been elected as President of State by the National Assembly and promised to resolutely defend national sovereignty." The Chinese state news agency Xinhua reported the National Assembly of Vietnam on April the 2nd has elected Mr. Trần Đại Quang as President of State. Mr. Trần Đại Quang was sworn in as President at the 11th session of the 13th National Assembly of Vietnam. Xinhua also quoted State President Trần Đại Quang when he was sworn in before the National Assembly. Many major Japanese news agencies such as Kyodo, Chichi, Japan Economic Times also reported Mr. Trần Đại Quang was elected as President of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. The Kyodo news agency furthered, the state president is the person who represents the country in both domestic and foreign affairs and has the supreme power as Commander-in-Chief of the Army. Vietnam Economic Times, in collaboration with the Trade Promotion Bureau, Ministry of Industry and Commerce, has presented the 2015 Golden Dragon Awards and Vietnam Strong Brand Awards. This year, the Golden Dragon Awards and Vietnam Strong Brand Awards have been given to 75 FDI enterprises and 100 domestic enterprises respectively. FDI enterprises receiving the Golden Dragon Awards include big names like Samsung Electronics Company, Chinfong Cement Corporation, Deloitte Vietnam Limited Company, Mercedes-Benz Vietnam Limited Company, Royal Vital Group, Hoa Sen Group, Vingroup are enterprises given the Vietnam Strong Brand Awards. The gala for enterprises given Golden Dragon Awards and Vietnam Strong Brand Awards, which were first held in 2001, is a place to meet, share experiences among the leading enterprises in and outside the country, which are operating in Vietnam. Up to now, these two annual awards have become one of the events receiving much attention from the business community in Vietnam. The awards aim to encourage the business community towards sustaining values, responsibility for building a healthy and transparent competitive environment. Turning to the international news, after the 12-day terrorist attack killing 28 people, Belgium will reopen port of Zaventem Airport today with new strengthened security control measures. As expected, on April the 3rd, there will be 3 flights of Belgium Airlines deriving from Zaventem to other locations in Europe. Belgian Federal Police spokesman Michael Joniok said security measures at airports will be particularly enhanced. "We are going to conduct preliminary examinations of all who want to go to the airport. This includes checking travel documents, identity cards, comparing to see if they match or not. In addition, passengers will also have to go through the security and luggage checkpoints." Earlier in the press conference on April the 1st, Mr. Arnaud Faze, CEO of the Zaventem Airport, said the reopening of the airport as soon as possible, despite only a fraction, has represented the efforts of the airport in particular and the government of Belgium in general not to surrender terrorist actions. After a series of bloody terrorist attacks in the capital Brussels on March the 22nd, the Belgian government has adopted additional measures to combat terrorism, such as allowing to conduct intensive checks 24/24 hours and establish common data banks for agencies operating in the field of combating terrorism. With 169 votes and 107 votes against, the Greek Parliament has achieved consensus on the implementation of the Joint Action Agreement between the EU and Turkey on the expulsion of refugees from Greece back to Turkey, which officially takes effect on April the 4th. Under this agreement, refugees illegally entering Greece will be sent back to Turkey from March the 20th. With every case of Syrian refugee taken back to Turkey, the EU will have to receive a corresponding case in legal way from Turkey. This agreement aims at closing the Balkan route, which has been used by 1 million migrants, refugees, to cross the Sea of Aegean in Greece in 2015, before heading north to Germany, Sweden. The maximum number of refugees that can exchange under this case is 72,000 people, of which Germany will receive the most of 16,000. According to the plan, in the first batch, 500 refugees from islands in Greece will be sent back to Dikili on the coast of Aegean in Turkey. In the meantime, migrants living in a temporary refugee camp in a small border town between Greece and Macedonia have held a protest asking to open the border and allow them to continue the journey to Central Europe and Northern Europe. Near the refugee camps, some migrants even came on the railways, preventing trains of passengers and cargo in 13 consecutive days. That's all for the news in English for today. Thanks for joining us and goodbye.